Hey guys, I'm Sean Selby, and this is the channel where we talk about solo entrepreneurs going from just solo, or maybe it's like you and your wife or something, and then it's mapping out the systems and processes that you might need in your business to bring on virtual assistants. So this is going to be for people who are in the real estate niche. They could be house flippers, house wholesalers, land flippers, you name it. If you're kind of doing deals in real estate and you're wanting to bring on help in order to either get back your time, or you're trying to actively grow your company and you realize, hey, I need help to do this. I can't keep doing this just me or maybe one other person in the business. So this video, I just want to simply cover, like what's in the back of so many people's minds when I talk to them. And one of their biggest fears is they hire someone and then they don't work out. And the real fear is how much time it took them to do it, and then however much money they spent on initial training and getting that person onboarded. I think this just goes back to mindset. Do I worry about that? Yes, a little bit. However, if you got the right mindset, and let's think about it as far as a deal. So you're in business, you're doing real estate deals. Let's say you lose money on a deal. It is, at the end of the day, provided you weren't gambling everything in your company on one deal working out, it will eventually be water under the bridge if you lose money on a deal. So I hope that you're not doing one deal and then you lose all your chips because one thing goes wrong. It was more plumbing than you thought, more electrical, on, stuff like that. But these things are much smaller risk. This is not like betting the farm on one person, especially when you add up what all it cost. It is really not that terribly big of a deal. So let's say that, we've taken a week, or depending on the role, it could definitely take more than a week to find that person. But now you found one that you think is going to work out. Let's say that we've given them that initial training period, and we're going to try to identify really quick if that person is working out or not. And I have definitely had people that I've tried out and wanted to see their work and then kind of work with them and see how it goes. And then I've had to let them go. But as someone that has made it to where now I've got some great people on my team, it is beyond worth it. Okay. If the only thing that you take away from this video is if I could just get you to understand how big of a difference it is once you've gotten past those bad hires and you've got people that can do all the work that you can give them to within reason, and they're performing really great, the amount of stress and workload that takes off your life, it is beyond worth it. In fact, if I have to go through 5, 6, or 7 hires to find that really key person, it is beyond worth it. It is not that big of a deal to bring someone on. You give them that 2-week trial, because in the grand scheme of business, it's like you're not going to build a $10 million company overnight. It is, that it's going to take work. If you're watching this channel with the type of content that I'm making, that business is hard work and it takes time. This is the opposite of a get-rich-quick channel, because it's like I don't do business opportunity. You have to already be in business making money. I don't teach people how to make their first dollar in real estate. It's just not what I do as a company. So you already know it's going to take time, and it is so worth it to find that really key person. Whether they're acting as a department integrator, they're acting as a manager, or, could even be back to some type of marketing role that they're doing. Or for some people, if you're doing fewer deals and depending on your marketing channels, they may be more of an admin type of person, or they could be a type of transaction coordinator for you. Doesn't really matter. Everyone's business is different, and so everyone needs that different key person who is their first hire, or we could even be talking about your second or third hire. If you found someone but you're looking to where you want to actually build a team, that's where what we teach could come into play for you. So just know that it is so worth getting over those bad hires. It will be water under the bridge, provided that you have got a reasonable amount of capital. And if you're watching this channel, that is definitely a prerequisite. So if you've only got a couple $1,000s, none of what I'm teaching is for you. That would go back into some of these other channels. There is a ton of great real estate channels that teaches you how to get your first deal or your first 5, for instance. Because, when you're talking about building a team, you already need to have multiple deals under your belt. You need to actually have a company. So that way you've got the capital to put a small team or 1 or 2 hires to work. So that way you're not stressing about, well, if I don't get a deal in 30 days, I have to let this person go. Because, this channel is for people who've already got a little bit of capital. It doesn't have to be like a tremendous amount, but it needs to be enough that you're not in survival mode. So that way you can make really good decisions around your hires and your business, because you've got to be out of that survival mode in order to start transitioning to where it's a real business. So whether you're a wholesaler or a flipper, that, or a land flipper, that kind of stuff, it's going to depend on, what your deal sizes is and stuff. So it's like, I can't say a rock solid amount of deals, but you just have to know what your risk tolerance is, so you know how much capital you need before you can start implementing this stuff. And then it's trying, to get that business to where you can grow it in order for you to have more consistent deal flow. Some people are trying to do 1 a month. Some people are trying to do, 1 every week or 2 weeks or something when they're kind of in that sweet spot. Now, if you're a flipper, that might be a lot different. You're juggling a lot of different things, and 2, your deal sizes could be a lot, so all that stuff's going to vary. But if I can just get you to realize that it is so worth it, to where don't even question whether or not it's worth it. Just know in your heart that it is so worth it because you are tired of having to work so many hours. It doesn't matter if you have a day job and then you're running your business at night, or if you're in your business full time, but you're trying to do so many tasks. And the side effect is that you're not doing any task on a really great level just because your time is so split. There's so many people trying to do 4 or 5 different things per day or even more. Like right now, for instance, I have to leave the office to go and today I had to go and wire money for a deal that we're buying, because like all my deals, like we just buy the properties. And then you figure how many different times I'm needing to go to banks and do that. And then it takes time, to get the documents notarized, sent off, stuff like that. It's very hard to leave the office, go and do things like that, and then come back and then try to get back into deep work, which, that's a great book. I'm sure some of y'all have went through that book, but it's like you want to try to have those big blocks of time to where you can do the really important things in your business. And so I highly recommend not looking at it like, well, but what if I screw up? I would argue, what if you don't take the leap and then you never screw up, but then you never hire anybody, and now you're stuck in all of these tasks to where if you found the right person, they could do them better than you anyways. And which is what we teach is the remote workers, virtual assistants, so they're in other countries. They can do this at a fraction of the cost compared to someone in the US, for instance. Even if you're in Australia or the UK, you're still going to be able to get them so much cheaper than, in your country. It's often a fraction. It might be half what it would cost to pay someone in the US. Could be a third or a fourth, or even less, just depending on what types of roles we're talking about. And keep in mind, those virtual assistants will be making a lot more money in their own country working for you. Sometimes they could be making double or triple the work that they could find in their own country working for you, just because of how much further like the US dollar goes than what their currency goes for in their country. So keep these things in mind. I wish that I would have done it even sooner instead of trying to hold on to tasks like I did in the beginning. It's just not worth it. It is so much better to, work on acquiring some other skills, which is going to be, trying to lead a team and then learning communication better. Your time is so much more well spent on that just because you've got a set amount of hours in your day. And so many people right now are, buying into the hustle culture, which I get it. There is definitely a place for that. but I would not want to live in that type of, period for a decade. It's not sustainable. I mean, if you're not seeing your wife, your kids, your husband, then all of a sudden it's like, this is definitely taking a toll on life, especially if you got a day job and you're working until midnight, that is just a brutal thing. And believe me, it's like I have had a day job and then done real estate, from my laptop, any chance I got. But I would not have wanted to stay in that period for too long. It's necessary when you're starting out, but then as soon as you've got a real business, you need to start trying to do things a little bit different, in my opinion. And to the people that are watching this channel, I would imagine that the majority of y'all share the same value, or you probably wouldn't be paying attention to me at all. So if you have any desire at all to see step by step of what it takes to find and then hire, onboard, train a virtual assistant in order for you to stop doing these tasks that are eating up your day, or even worse, you are neglecting doing these tasks, especially the ones that could actually be bringing you in deals. I highly recommend you check out that YouTube video. It's going to be linked in the description. It's about an hour long, and it shows what we help people to do and accomplish, with systems, processes, virtual assistants. It really is just really great business principles. And this is not like the shiny object stuff that you constantly see on social media being peddled. It's like, this isn't like some kind of AI that's going to take over something. Sure, virtual assistants can use the AI, of course, but it's really the people that is just the most important thing that I have found that has made the biggest difference in my personal life and in my business professional life. So check that out, and I hope that this helps. Make sure to leave a comment, and I try to read them all, and then I can make a video about it if I think it's something that everybody would want to hear about. So thank y'all.